Hi everybody, so we're moving into balance part 2 and today's focus is on single leg strength. So working on being able to stabilize and stand on one leg, move on one leg, because if you even think of the action of walking, you have to lift one leg to move forward, so you're going to be on one leg. So then logic makes perfect sense. It's logical that you would need single leg strength, and that's a little bit of what we're going to work on today, starting with something really simple where we began on the first one of these on our balance part 1. So if you're sitting on the floor like me or somewhat like me, you're going to take your feet out, you're into a squat, you're going to move your weight forward and you're going to stand up. And that's using both legs. So in the first of this sequence, I worked on foot balancing, on working on the strength of your feet. So if you want to reference that, just slip back to the previous video, which is balance part 1. For this one, to start working on your single leg strength, we're going to start with 2 legs on the floor rather than one leg at a time. So you would really begin with something like this. So just a simple split squat or lunge. So you can put your palms on your waist and just drop. So you don't have to take that knee all the way to the mat. But if you can see, you're balancing on your front foot, and I have just got my back toes on the mat. So you're already beginning to move into a single leg. So you're working, so the foot that's forward, in this case my right, is taking the weight of my body. So I'm pushing in, so to come back up out of this, I push into that front leg to lift myself up. I drop myself down and push up. And the added benefit of this, of course, is that you're building strength in your opposite leg as well. So you're building strength in your glutes. So then you would alternate to the other side. And then you're down and press into my left foot to lift up. I move down, press into my left to move up. I would move down and then press into my left to lift up. And they're very, very simple ways of initiating that kind of movement. Then before I started moving with one leg, I would stand up on my toes, just activating through my feet, activating through my calf muscles, drop down onto my heels, lift my toes up. I might walk around the room on my toes just to get the calf muscles working, lift up and then lift up, and then lift my toes up, drop my toes down, lift my feet up, and then I might try and close my eyes, put my hands on my waist, close my eyes and lift my heels up and see how that works for you. And then drop them down, because that's a really added benefit, because eyesight is part of your balance. So if you close them, you cut off that. So close your eyes again for a minute and lift up. This is balancing on 2 legs now, and then drop down. Then in the first of the series, we used the standing from seated to standing. So we use both legs in that earlier one. This time we're just going to use one leg. So maybe starting on what you consider to be your stronger leg. So rather, when I'm coming up with my 2 legs, I would usually have my feet out at 45 degrees and lift up as though I were coming up from a squat. When I'm coming up on one leg, the alignment is quite different. So you will feel that yourself as you start to try to do this. You'll want your foot in line. You'll want it straight forward. So foot right under you, and then you're going to press into your foot and you're going to lift up. So you can see, even for me, that's quite difficult. It's not easy to do, so I haven't been practicing it, but I do know it's something you should be practicing. So to begin with, say you're on your weaker leg now, I might just use my hands to the chair to help me my first time. I have a bit of a glute problem going on the left. That really tried it. So let's come back down again. I'm going to try it on my right, see if I got any better. Yeah, I tipped my toes. Okay. So again, use your hands, lift yourself up And then you put 2 feet to the ground and then use your hands again and lift yourself up. That's difficult enough, not that easy to do. So if I were doing that and I found, as I found for myself, it's not that easy, I would use my box. And I would do this particular exercise. So put my box here. And I would probably put it over by the wall just in case I was a bit nervous about not being able to do this properly. So I'd put the box over to the wall. I would stand on my left leg and then I would slowly lower my right leg down. And I'm working on, so you might wobble, that's why the wall is handy. This is my kind of more challenged leg. And then I would just hold it. Now you can come up and down out of this as well. I would probably be able to do it on my right, all right, but I'm not set up to do it on my right there. Actually, I'll do it on my right in the middle. Okay, let's do it this way. So, standing up on your box, I usually put my hands to my heart and then I just stabilize. So you're stabilizing through your knee, through your quad, through your ankle. You might wobble around a bit and then you might take your heel down to the floor and lift yourself up. So this is working on, so the muscles that I'm recruiting there are all on the outside of my hip. So on my glute med, on the outside, I'm working on the stability of my knee joint and I'm working on my ankles. So something like that is really beneficial. So as I progress with these balance poses, when I find something deficient, I'll find a way of helping that, of improving that. So moving from there, we're going to move back into more single leg stuff. So this time you're going to stand with your fingers to the wall, standing on your right leg, and you're just going to lift your left leg back. Just simple. You're going to stand a little bit further away. So eventually you can stand on that leg, take your hands away and balance. And then lift out of it and do the same on the other side. So having the protection and the safety of the wall is really good. So lifting up and then lifting up out of it. And then coming back to some of the stuff we did in the previous one. So you're standing, always having the wall there as safety valve, just in case. So this time I'm going to lift my right leg up, balance on my left, take my hand away if I can, keep it there if I can't, and close my eyes. So just close your eyes, see how long you can keep them closed. Wobbling around a bit is absolutely no problem. And then you can drop that leg down, come to the other one. So always starting with your poorer leg. The one you feel is not as strong as the other one, the less strong one. And then coming on to the strong. So always finishing on a high note. So find your balance first and then close your eyes. I'm going to fall out of it. So falling out is not a problem. That's a work in progress. And then slowly dropping your foot down. And to add into those kind of movements, there's one we do in yoga called tree pose. And you can use a chair or something like that for this if you want something to balance with. So maybe you might like to hold on to a chair. I'll put it on this side. So balancing on your right foot, you can bend your left knee. You can place your left foot into the crook of your knee and see if that works. This is tree pose. And then gradually as you strengthen through it, I'm just going to have to find my way into that. It's amazing when you're filming, your balance is a little bit out of joint. And then maybe you can take your hands up over your head. And I'm very wobbly today. And that just goes with balance. And also with filming, which makes balance a little more difficult because you're not concentrated on what you're doing, because those kind of balance moves take concentration, because you need to focus. You need to have your eyes fixed on something. And as I say, that's what, when you close your eyes, makes closing your eyes so difficult. So again, just working with this here, standing on one leg, lifting the other one up, and then just turn to look over your right shoulder, come back to the center, and then turn to look over your left shoulder. Come back to the center, look up at the ceiling, and look down at the floor. All really simple things. And down to the floor. And just a couple of other things that you can work on, as well as those. Just the last couple of things that you can work on. So as I say, walking is one of the great ways to improve your balance. But when you're walking, I mean, don't mind what everybody around you thinks or when they see you doing stuff like this. But when you're walking, every so often just stand on one leg and then maybe stand on the other leg. And then walk backwards, stand on one leg, walk backwards and stand on one leg. And then you can increase that into maybe a little hop. Not going to do it now, but so, and even at home, just walk when you're coming into the kitchen, walk up on one leg and balance, and then, so this makes it a much more dynamic thing. So it becomes part of a regular movement that you would do, as opposed to just a static balance. Because mostly when we want to balance, we're moving. We're not static. So the exercises I've been doing with you, apart from standing up from a seated position, are static. So standing on one leg like that is static. So, but if I stand on one leg and then I put it down and then I move and stand on the other leg, and that could then introduce you to running mechanics, which and this would be called an A-skip, but we would be hopping up on the other foot. So incorporate little things like that into your daily routine and just keep moving. The secret to balance is movement and strength in your muscles. And the one of all that I probably like the best is coming up from a low squat. And learning to come up on one leg. You can see how challenging that is for me, and I'm used to it. Well, I haven't been doing too much of that lately, but just learning even to come up on the 2 feet, learning to be able to stand up from a seated position without using your hands. So balance, an incredibly important part of keeping your body active, flexible, and strong throughout your life. So that's it for our 2 balance moves. I will do a third one, but not today. I'll do a third one where we do something much more dynamic with our balance. And you can add that into your repertoire. But beginning with part 1 and part 2 is a great way to begin, and just incorporate it into your daily routine. As I say, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to, find a special time to do it. When you're sitting down in the evening, just stand up. Work on the strength of your feet. Work on, when you're out walking, just lift one leg and then lift the other. And your body will quickly get used to it. And it'll become part of something that just is part of what you do and the way you keep your strength. So that's it for today. And I'll see you back on the mat in the near future.